Commanders, welcome back to World of Warships Legends. Trying out my new format here where I go straight into the match. That way nobody has to complain that I bored them or it took too long to get to the match part. Unfortunately, with this one, I did not include a review of the commander build, so I'll just tell you right now. It is Reizo Tanaka in a full concealment, triple concealment build with Swirsky and Bay. I believe it's Torpedo, Safari, Fragile Threat. Uh, I'm forgetting one of the other torpedo skills. And then Smoke on the Water and Unstoppable. Whatever that other torpedo skill that I'm missing is. Whether it's in the first row or the third row. Just choose the middle skill for torpedoes. You'll be good to go. And the Shimakaze, we did everything except for the legendary torpedo upgrade. I did not do that. We're using the stock torpedoes on the Shimakaze. I believe the other upgrades are the aiming system mod 1, propulsion mod, concealment mod, and then in the last one, I would guess that that would be the torpedo mod. I'm not sure if the Shimakaze, off the top of my head, has a torpedo mod in addition to its special torpedo mod. So I guess if I had prepared more, if I was a professional community contributor, I would know the answer to that. I don't. So it is what it is. Anyway, we're on this match, whatever match that is, whatever map. We are top tier because we're a legendary ship. And I think this match, although very short, can show you the damage potential of the Shimakaze. I know there are some really great games out there. I believe Spartan Elite 43 has a game where it's something like almost 300,000 damage. Don't worry, this game doesn't even approach that. However, I think what you'll see here in the beginning is I'm not doing a whole lot because there's not a whole lot I can do. And then when I'm given the opportunity to do something, I really maximize on the strong points of the Shimakaze, which prior to the introduction of the Kleber, I would have said easily is the best torpedo boat in the game. However, now I believe that is the Kleber. I think the Kleber is too well rounded and too strong to say that the Shimakaze is better than that. So we saw an enemy destroyer here in the cap, I guess making the screen bigger so I could tell you what kind of destroyer it was would have been a good idea. I didn't do that. So we're just going to randomly launch our torpedoes out here in this general direction. As you can see, the indicator, they're still in the cap. There are his torpedoes. He aimed them where I used to be. And I guess we're not going to get any hits, which is rather disappointing. So the Shimakaze is a destroyer that you should be loath to engage in a gunfight with another ship, unless it's another Shimakaze or lower tier Japanese destroyer. Save, of course, the Akizuki. Japanese destroyers traditionally have a long reload, but a good splash when they do hit. So just keep that in mind. These are generally not gunfighting ships, again, with the exception of the Akizuki. So I gave up on the idea of trying to cap this, even though it looks like the enemy also, well, maybe not. Looks like they're still in Charlie. I just gave up. I backed out. I'm turning back around this island, give myself a little bit of cover, and then I'm going to proceed forward. And I believe I'm going to torp again right here. Yes. And hope that that manages to catch the guy. Now, here's a weird thing. They were capping Charlie, and then they backed out, even though they would have known I was no longer in the cap. Very odd. All right, so that's a Khabarovsk, definitely a destroyer we don't want any part of in a gunfight. None whatsoever. So I'm just going to torp in his expected path. Not that he's going to end up there. As you can see, he's rather far away and appears to be turning away. However, I am going to use this opportunity to sneak back into this little lagoon here and try to capture Charlie again. If at first you don't succeed, try again. So we are sneaking back in, and I think we're going to be relatively well protected in this little lagoon. As you can see, there's an enemy battleship to the starboard side, but this big, immovable, impenetrable island is between me and him. It is Yamato. We are spotted by an aeroplane, however, we are shielded by the landmass, so we can't get shot at by the Khabarovsk either. So all in all, that's just a good deal for us. I am eyeing that Khabarovsk, and look at that. The Shimakaze shot down an airplane. Now, granted, it was just a spotting plane. Now, here again, the landmass saves us from being detected, and we managed to capture Charlie. So that's a pretty good deal. That is not the Kaba's radar, of course. Someone else's radar, probably a cruiser that popped up briefly, and I just forgot to look at it. But I am unassing the cap in order to go lob torpedoes at the Yamato. And that's whoever had the radar. And as soon as we get around the corner here, it becomes apparent to me the Yamato is either backing up or not really taking advancing very seriously. So I think I am going to give him Grosser first as radar. I remain unconvinced that that's what had radar. I just launched one at the Yamato, and I'm not sure why I'm turning out here, except that maybe I think that airplane belongs to another ship over there, maybe a cruiser that has radar, and so I circle back towards Charlie, which the Cobros made no attempt to go back in and cap. Probably because the Odin is right there, and the Odin scared him away. So we're just heading back into Charlie for no good reason. As you can see, my torpedoes all fell short. 9 minutes into the game, I have one cap, one airplane shot down, and zero damage. Here's the Khabarovsk again. Not that the Odin doesn't know where the Khabarovsk is. I can't really engage the Khabarovsk safely if he's out of my torp range, although I torped anyway, hoping he would turn in. He appears like he is not doing that. I do shoot at him. That seems kind of dumb. But I did manage to nick his tail end a little bit. The Kaba is a very long destroyer, so I do get a couple piddly more hits on him. I'm really trying to start a fire, and I'm just not having a whole bunch of luck. I am being engaged, I think, by the secondaries of a battleship out in the middle of the map, but he did not hit me with anything. And right about now, I get shot at by Yamato, and he does a sizable amount of damage to me, about 6,500 damage, and I think he'll hit me with one shell. So that's not great. I do gauge this Kaba's motion, but I end up just putting a torpedo salvo at the beginning of his smoke screen. The second one, I'm going to shoot at this Grosser Kerr first, hoping that he doesn't really try very hard to get out of the way. And we shot down another airplane. So at least we have damage now. 7 minutes, 7.5 minutes left in the game. We've got 1,188 damage. So please line up now to offer me your congratulations on having a fantastic match. By getting to the front of the line, you can get it over with quicker. I think I asked that Yamato for help because I'm really not sure how effective he is way back there. And by his immediate response, you can tell he's very motivated to help me have a good game. All right, the Odin and the Kaba appear to be squaring off. I really don't want anything to do with that. But the Grocer First and the Yamato are really in love with this part of the island, and they're just gonna hang out there. So I decide, with 6.5 minutes left in the match, maybe I could break 2,000 damage at some point. So don't be fooled by that. There is an extra little island there. I just barely evaded being detected by the Grocer first by turning out there. I do have a smoke screen, I just don't want to use it yet. But the Grocer first kind of stopped at that little outcropping. The Yamato is dead stopped, it looks like. But I am going to launch 2 racks. I get one solitary torpedo strike on the Grocer first, and he stops the flooding. But I get two, or a second torpedo strike on the Yamato. So one on the first, one on the Yamato. Second salvo of 5 torpedoes. Totally misses the Grocer first. And one hits the Yamato. And now the Yamato is flooding. The third salvo of 5 torpedoes misses the Yamato and hits the Grocer first. And now I believe he is going to start flooding. And I want to say, like a minute and a half ago, I had less than 1,200 damage, and now I'm approaching 100,000 damage. So we're over 100,000. I mean, this is just amazing how quickly, with this ship, due to the power and speed of its torpedoes, you can turn what looked like a totally forgettable match. And I'm sure there are people who didn't even get this far. They like turned away because they were like, this guy is not going to get any damage. So this is going to be really strange to me too. We get the Witherer medal. We still don't have a kill yet. Um, and we are approaching 150,000 damage. Salvo of 5 torpedoes. Finally, we sink the Yamato and get a Liquidator medal. So I've never before had a match where I get the combo of Witherer and Liquidator. The second salvo of 5 torpedoes towards the Grocer first. You can't get away either. Kill number 2. 190,925 damage. So looking at the scoreboard, I'm not going to get to the Bismarck in time. If the match could have started with about 7 minutes left, I think I could have easily killed this guy and had well over 200,000 damage. But unfortunately, that's not the way it works here in World of Warships Legends. Anyway, we got a win. Look, they cheated me. They cheated me of 1 damage point again. They cheated me in another video of mine, the Kleber video. 8 torpedo strikes, 8 floods, the Witherer, and the Liquidator combo. And over 300,000 silver. I don't use money booster flags on the legendary ships. Maybe I should start. So that is the Shimakaze. We are at the top of the board. 2479 base XP, and that's the match. Like, subscribe, comment below.